Kat, welcome to my tiny kitchen.
I'm making 2 high-protein lunch options and a snack for my upcoming work week. I'm making a tuna olive pasta and also a chicken dish with cilantro and lime rice. If you like the sound of that, then welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy it here, and I talk about realistic meal prep, budgeting, and preparing for a big move abroad while I'm still working my 9 to 5. If you like content like this, please leave me a like on this video because it really helps out and supports my channel. I start off by chopping the garlic, putting that into a pan with some olive oil before I cook it down and add the canned tomatoes.
Actually, I don't really brown the garlic here because it's very quick to turn bitter once it's brown. So sauteing it on low heat really is the way to go. I also add some water so the sauce doesn't get too thick too soon, and of course a little bit of salt. I also like to listen to audiobooks while I cook, so I forgot to put that one on in the beginning, and I just put it on later. I was listening to Brimstone, which, while editing me, already has finished that one, and oh my god, that was such a good book. If you've read it, just let me know in the comments down below if you liked it and your thoughts on it. I'm also using the time the sauce needs to simmer to put on the rice in the rice cooker for the chicken dish I'm making, and also prepare some of the vegetables that I will use in a little bit. I usually try to meal prep in a way where multiple things are happening at once because that way seems like the best one for me. Like when the red sauce is on the stove, having the rice cooker on so that cooks simultaneously, and it just does its thing in the background really, and by the time I need the rice it'll be already perfectly cooked and I can just mix it in the cilantro later. And I'll also have my hands free to cut the bell peppers, which is just time saving essentially. Once the red sauce has cooked sufficiently, I will taste test it, and if it tastes good, I'll just add the tuna to it. If you don't like tuna, you could easily just replace that with chicken or also with sardines, or even tofu, really any protein of your choice. Also always make sure to taste your sauce and adjust it with the salt levels. I usually don't add too much salt in the beginning because it cooks down, which makes the saltiness a little bit stronger. So I always salt a little bit in the beginning, and then once it's cooked down to my liking, I will taste it and then adjust the salt again. Also, if you add Parmesan cheese or pecorino cheese to it, that one also contains salt, so I usually just go with a little bit less if I add those. Once that's all in the pan, I continue to cut my vegetables and stir the pasta a little bit so that doesn't stick to the bottom of the pot. That's just such a pain when the pasta sticks to the pot, and I think it's happened to all of us before. It definitely happened to me too many times. The red sauce is essentially done, so I'm just adding the basil to it. That adds a little bit of freshness, which is really nice. You could also use just parsley for it or just leave it completely. That's absolutely up to you. I like the addition of basil a lot because it tastes a bit fresher to me than parsley does, and I really like it. And I also really made a mess with the pasta water here. Do not recommend, just always have something underneath the colander. Once I've added the pasta to the sauce, I add a little bit more basil because I didn't think it was enough, and that's it for the pasta really. Next I was weighing out the chicken, which I really like to do because that way I don't really have too little chicken in the end or massive amounts of leftovers. I really like cooking specific amounts so I don't end up with leftovers, and also that's the way I like to shop. I usually do buy a bigger amount of chicken than I actually use because that way it's a bit cheaper. But the chicken that I don't use, I'll just put in the freezer, and then I can make some meals with that on the weekends, or sometimes a dinner meal if I'm not feeling something that I've prepared. Speaking of dinner, I'm not meal prepping that this week because I decided to have Greek salad for dinner. I don't know why, but I've had a Greek salad phase and that really just takes me 10 minutes to toss together, so I didn't really see the point in meal prepping that, especially because I don't really enjoy meal prepping salads that much. Though I feel like Greek salad is one of the better ones to meal prep if you would like to do that. For the chicken, I add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil to a pan and then I season the chicken. I'm seasoning the chicken with smoked paprika, sweet paprika and some chili flakes. I'm using Korean ones because that's just what I have, and salt and pepper. I actually got this recipe from another creator here on YouTube. I'm gonna link her recipe below. I don't really know how to pronounce her last name, but like her first name is Liezl. I really enjoy her videos. She originally made like a Cajun spice chicken, which I would have really liked to try, but Cajun spice is nothing that's easy to get where I live, so chili and paprika had to be enough. While the chicken is browning, I'm cutting the onions, which is definitely not one of my favorite activities. I love eating onions, especially red ones, and I think this dish also is worth getting the red ones, but if you don't want to do that, or if you just have regular yellow onions at home, that should be fine to use as well. Onions are make me cry.
Once the chicken's brown, just add the onion to your pan and stir it evenly so everything also cooks evenly. I usually stir it, let it sit for a while, stir it again, just making sure everything cooks nicely and doesn't stick to the pan. Once that's done, I add the bell pepper because those take the least amount of time to cook. And I also like it when they're not too soggy but still have a little bit of bite, so I add those last. While I'm waiting for the chicken to cook, I make my little snack that I really love taking into the office with me. It's a high protein cheesecake, which is essentially Greek yogurt, a little bit of sugar and egg, some cornstarch or like vanilla pudding mix and lemon zest. Actually, making this one, watching it now, I forgot to add the cornstarch, which is a bummer, but actually it turned out pretty decent either way. I like the consistency a little bit better with the cornstarch in it, but it worked. And this is a really good like afternoon snack in the office because it gives me almost like 30 grams of protein and it satisfies that office sweet tooth that I get. I don't know if you work in an office, but like if you do you know that afternoon slump after lunch break where just your energy levels just drop a little bit and you just want sweets? It's literally the worst thing. But actually having high protein meals at work with me helps me a lot with not having too much of a sweet tooth at work. So that's something that really helps me with that. Well, yeah, my rice is done and my chicken is done. So I portioned out the chicken into one meal prep container that I will put in the fridge and then one lunchbox that I will take to work with me. I just transferred the rice into a bowl and now I'm chopping the cilantro, which again, if you don't like cilantro, you could easily swap that out for parsley. I think my plan was to use all of the zest of the lime, but I'm really not great at zesting those things. So it was like a good amount of zest and then the chopped cilantro, and I also added some of the lime juice, which made it extra citrusy, and I really enjoyed the taste of this. Mixing it was a little bit hard because the rice had cooled down a bit already and I tasted it a bit and added more lime to it. But yeah, I really enjoyed eating it that week. That was such a good way to have rice in a meal prep. I just portioned that out as well and then I'm essentially done with my meal prep. I actually really enjoyed having this dish as a meal prep because it kept so well in the fridge and it just tasted so good even like 3 days later. But yeah, that's the meal prep I did for the week. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. Also, for the cheesecake, I usually add some frozen fruit on top of that so that defrosts in the fridge overnight, and when I take it to work with me, by the time I eat it, it's just perfectly thawed and adds a little bit of fiber and vitamins as well. Let me know which of these dishes was your favorite and which one you would like to make for yourself as well.
I'm done with my meal prep for the week, and I hope you enjoyed cooking with me. If you would like to see more videos like this, then feel free to subscribe, and also if you would like to see budget breakdowns of these videos or these meal preps, then let me know in the comments, or also check my Substack because I do post the budget breakdowns on there. See you next time. Bye.